Hello. Today's been a bit of a weird day with the current lockdown, and I haven't had a great time. And I think one of the things that I like to do when I'm a bit down is revisit past work. So I'll listen to old albums that I made or things like that. Something I've been doing a lot over the past year or so is sketching, and it's not been because I want to get great and I want to publish this stuff or anything. It's just been for me. It's just been to help with my own mental health. But I thought you guys might like to see it. So we'll get to the pens. I have here 3 notepads, and being a consumer that I am, when I wanted to get sketching, I didn't just get the paper that I had out of the printer and a biro and start sketching. I decided, I should buy some stuff and then start sketching. So really, these 3 books, and something else I'm going to show you later, have got every sketch I've done in over the last year or so, since I started. And hopefully you'll see some kind of progression. Hopefully you'll see that they might get slightly better. Lovely. So let's open them up. I'll go through. First of all, before I do that, I wanted to show you my inspiration. I think it's important to know, why am I into sketching? Why am I? And there are some artists that have really inspired me, but also not just artists, but the kind of not just the art. Not artists. No, of course, artists. Not just the art people have made, but also the kind of temperament of different people. That I kind of wanted to bring that into my own meditations, or whatever you want to call it, around just doodling mindlessly. So here we go. The first person I want to mention, this is one of his works. This is John Bergerman. John Bergerman, you may know, he doodled over loads of Quicksilver stuff a few years ago. I think that's what people know him from. But he's done loads of different stuff. This is an original, and he's a real inspiration for me. I think it's a bit of a cliche to say people like Mobius. Obviously, there are some amazing artists out there that have real surrealist styles. But John Bergman's one of them. The other person is the YouTuber Peter Draws. I'm not going to try and pronounce his actual surname. His YouTube channel, Peter Draws. If you're into this kind of stuff, look up his thing. Anyway, shall we? It's like 2 minutes in, and I haven't opened the book yet. It's 3 minutes in. No, I don't know how long it's in. Right, I'm going to open the book. So this is the first notepad. They get better, okay? So I bought this, and I wanted to use fountain pens, so I bought this cheap manuscript fountain pen. It's got a flat nib for doing calligraphy, and I really didn't know better. So I filled this up with calligraphy ink for like brushes and stuff, and started. So here we are. This was the first piece that I drew. Obviously I love doodling and I love art anyway, so I wouldn't say this is like, this is something that, you can see the toaster died and went to heaven here. Can you? Oh yeah, that's in frame. Amazing. I keep on having to stand up and go, is this in frame? Yes. And this is basically just trying out different things and just trying out having the pen in my hand and trying to fill the page, basically. The second one I coloured in using some watercolours that I had from when I used to do watercolour stuff. I don't really like this, but you can see I was using calligraphy ink, because then I have to use watercolour and the ink hasn't run. So calligraphy ink, you can usually, it isn't meant for fountain pens, it's meant for like brushes and dip pens, and doesn't run. I then tried to colour in some other work, and it didn't go so well, obviously because fountain pen ink runs. So at this point I think I was getting a bit annoyed at the flat nature of the pen, at like the lines going in and out. It's a style. This is probably this was probably the first time I thought, oh yes, I could totally do this. I could find some satisfaction in this. And don't forget, this isn't me. I didn't do this with a view to showing anyone. I just wanted to, when I had finished a piece, be satisfied with it myself. Anyway, that was a piece. I tried to copy a Mobius piece here. It didn't work. And then I wanted to use like bigger blocks of black. So I tried doing just blacking out a shape and then going from there. Yeah, that was all right. Oh, here's the other one that I tried to colour with watercolours. By this point, I was actually using fountain pen ink because the pen had been getting clogged. And I was like, why has the pen been getting clogged? Oh, it's because I've been using the wrong ink. And the bottle of ink I've been using is Waterman, the Intense Black. I looked online at some different finishes, and this stuff's amazing. And there's still so much of it left. I mean, I've literally been doodling for a year, mostly in black ink, and I've probably used a quarter. So, yeah. So all of this, I think, would have been with this pen, the manuscript. And then I decided to take the plunge and buy a fountain pen, and I've seen these before, and I was like, I want one of these. This is a Kaweco, don't know how you pronounce it, Sport, and it's very small. So with this pen, I was using cartridges because I ordered some green pen cartridges, so this is Kaweco green ink. I ran out of those, and what I've done since is you can fill up the whole of the pen with ink, and you'll see later on, I quite like that design. Anyway, that's the Kaweco. As you can see now, the lines are a lot more consistent because of that. So yeah, here are some things. I don't know whether to say whether I like things or not. I don't like this one. I don't like this one. That's a bit better. I don't know what I'm trying to achieve. I tried to copy the style of Peter Draws, the YouTuber I mentioned before, and this is what happened. I don't know. I mean, it's a thing. I don't know if I like it or not. And then from there, I quite like the scribbly style of some bits. So I did this scribbly style one, and for some reason, I really like this. I mean, I don't think it's not good art or anything, but it's, for a practice of a certain stylistic element, I quite liked that. I tried mixing in the colours with black, that didn't work, and some of them I just gave up on. This is a sketchbook. This isn't. Around this time, I just wanted to start getting my lines a bit more consistent. But the lines to look like me, if you know what I mean. So I wanted my lines to look like they had been done by me, which is a weird thing. Anyway, I filled a page full of lines. So here's one that I did. So at this point, we're probably moving into early spring, summer time. Still copying a lot of aspects of different people. I don't think I've found my style yet. Trying different things. I quite like this one. This one's quite nice. Yeah. I don't know why I write on some of them. I never like it when I write on some of these things. Or sometimes, I don't know. I don't think I like it. Yeah, these are all with the Kaweco, whatever. Kaweco? I don't know. It's German. Maybe somebody German can tell me what it's supposed to sound like. I quite like this. And these days I'm trying to move more and more towards this kind of just totally abstract, rather than there be elements of things that people can see. Yeah, things like this. I really like this kind of surrealist weirdness. So yeah, I was loving the Kaweco, the ink I bought for it, really enjoying it. I was very aware that these are very broad lines, and it is a broad nib that it's got now. So at some point I changed to black ink. Yeah, at this point I think I'm hitting my line control kind of. I think I'm feeling in control of the pen. And that's taken me, I mean, that's like, what, 40 pages? Doing roughly a doodle every day or two. So it does take a while before it took for me. Here we are. So the greening stayed in here because, and I know that because there's a lot of green stuff. And I was like, I need something with thinner lines, which you can see here, the lines are slightly narrower. With I can put black ink into. And I bought this, people were raving about I was looking up online what fountain pens people liked, and people like the Jinhao brand a lot. They do copies of other pens basically, but they're really good. The nibs are excellent, and this is probably one of my favourite pens. Now it's not, I think it costs like literally £3 or something online. It's not very quote unquote good. The nib's really good. The plastic keeps on cracking in different places, like up here. And I keep on having to super glue bits back on. But anyway, I really like that pen. They make great nibs. Maybe I'll buy another Jinhao sometime. I started experimenting more with black. Yeah. Oh, that's a nice one. Maybe some of my simpler ones are nicer. Maybe that's what I'm finding by going over this. You'd think I would have flicked through these before I started this video. Yeah. Anybody know if an iPhone has a limit to videos? Let's have a look. 12 minutes in, we're still recording. This is great. No. We're still in frame as well. Yeah, we're still in frame and everything. This is great. I don't know why, but yeah, some of these shapes and things really spoke to me. As I said, as soon as I start writing on an image, I just go, why did I do that? But I do it so often. Here I was trying something else. I think that was a YouTube tutorial by somebody on shading, because I wanted to get better at shading. As you can see, most of my shading at this point is dots rather than lines. And I do move forward. I quite like when you get your pen and you put it down and you do something intentional. I don't like this kind of, I'm just going to... No, I like the shading in particular to be really intentional. Yeah, so you can see you've got a lot of dots over here. Whereas then I try moving more onto lines. At some point, they become almost exclusively lines with a few dots. Yeah. So this is, if you see black ink here, it's probably the Jinhao pen, which is a copy of it'll come to me, Lamy Safari pen. That's what it's a copy of. If you want to spend £20 on a plastic pen, Lamy Safari, or get the Jinhao copy. But as I've said, I mean, the plastic's pretty brittle. So yeah, so this is all with the, if you see the green ink, that's the Kavico. Yeah, at this point I'm feeling like my lines, I feel really in control of. So this was really satisfying for me. I know by the end of the summer, which I think this is probably the end of the summer by now, I know I was feeling a lot more confident with my lines. A blank page, what on earth? Yeah. And at this point, I think this was after I did this one of these ones, I started posting them on Instagram. Not because, once again, I mean, and not on my own Instagram. Well, I'll put a link down about my other Instagram, just for these. Just because I was looking at a lot of other artists on Instagram, and I don't know, I thought I wanted to share some of the stuff. Maybe it was Inktober, and I thought, let's do some stuff for Inktober. That's the thing where people post ink drawings throughout October. Yeah, quite like that one. That's a good one. all coloured, some in with a pencil. That's probably one of the kids' pencils. Oh, this is one of my favourite ones from this book. It's obviously just practising shading, but doesn't matter if it's a practice or if it's an actual piece of art. I mean, what is art other than just dragging some pigment over some paper? Anyway, that's a thing. Yeah. So we're coming to the end of this book now. And by the end of this book, I felt pretty confident with what I was doing. It was really nice. A lot of these were like a lunch break, take a break from work. Yeah, this one I think I put online. This is probably one of my favourite ones. I just drew this shape and then thought, oh, that's nice, and then just drew around it. Yeah, and as you can see, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of control in these. But this probably took me around 6 months, like the last one. Yeah, you can see it's a slightly different type of paper. That took me probably about 6 months to fill, and probably, well, a good few months to feel like, oh, you know what, I've been doing this every day or every other day. Right, so I went back. These notepads are all from, no, not the Range, what's the other one called? Hobbycraft, they just sell them. These were on offer, and I bought a few. So yeah, on to book 2. They didn't have any dark coloured books, so I got one with a map of the world on. In the front, I usually write my phone number and address. That's why there's tape here. So in the first few pages of this is, let's see whether this is still in focus and everything. Yeah, amazing. It's still recording. Yeah, iPhones are all right at this stuff, aren't they? This really is a kind of a word to, if you are using water-based ink and you are then walking through the rain, make sure no rain gets into your pad. As you can see, there's other splodges here. Yeah, so this pad, I think at some point, probably not by here, I'm still loving these. It's good looking back. This is alright, isn't it? Yeah, more rain damage. Splodges everywhere. Oh, writing, and as soon as you put writing on, it's shit. I was going to say something. Can't remember what it was now. Yeah, at some point here, I think I just got a bit bored. I think I got bored of going, okay, well, I know how to draw these kind of weird doodles now. I'm not learning anything. So I started trying to incorporate other elements. Try and do a bit more, adding some elements in. And I remember while I was doing these, a lot of them, the time I was like, oh, I'm really happy with the process. And I guess that's what was important for me. I wanted to do this because I wanted mainly for my mental health, just something to do while I'm trying to breathe and things. But I do remember kind of feeling like, I'm just doing the same thing over and over. So I did try and bring in other elements. Sometimes, I think other elements, like on this one, there's lots of different elements here. And there are things that I just draw. I don't know what to draw. Let's add a little jawbone or a broken nail or a tooth or the toast, whatever. A bone, an avocado. Yeah, so all of these things, that kind of works for me. What doesn't work for me is when I try different styles of line. It's weird. I know I'm saying lines a lot, but I feel like just that, if I'm rather than, that's not really me. Anyway, that's how I feel about it. Some smudges here. When you smudge ink, that's because you're using ink, and that's a thing. So I tried doing different, I don't know, like thinking about things before I started. I don't know whether that works or not sure. So here, I had seen somebody, I can't remember who, use like a fine liner, and it looked just amazing. So I bought myself a fine liner, I've since gone through 3 or 4 of these because while they're amazing, the 0.05mm nib, which is really tiny, they kind of, I don't know, maybe I'm a bit heavy-handed, but they do eventually wear out. Uni pen, they're, it's alright. And I just really like the look of these tiny, tiny little lines. I think in the completed work, I don't know if it really matters at all, but when you are like in person and you see something and it's so tiny and detailed, I'll see this. So this is where I ran out of this Coeco ink, so I put black ink in, and for whatever reason it clogged up when I did it. I thought I did this whole thing, I'll put change is good, and then it started changing into black and then it got totally clogged. So yeah, that's the Waterman again. Great ink. Anyway, so I carried on doing drawing. So this is probably the Coeco now. Yeah, that's it's probably the Coeco. Try doing things a bit more detailed, just inspired by that pen, the fine liner. Eventually I do one entirely with a fine liner. Yeah, and as I said, some things you just start doing and they don't work. That's quite nice. Yeah. Here we are. So that's the kind of look I wanted with the fine liner when I actually paid some attention to it. So I really, I think getting that detail is not about as I said, the finished product. If you blow this up to the same size as the other work, it probably looks very similar. But when you see it in person and it's tiny and delicate, and you can also there's a lot of control you can get with these fine liners. They're technical pens, I suppose. But with this kind of thing, you can see some of the lines are, if you push down and stuff, and if you do like little sketchy bits, there's a lot of control you can get with these. Anyway, onwards. I guess, I like the results with that. I'm not sure I like the process as much. It's very, every line has to be, you've got to be so precise. It's very unforgiving. Whereas, oh, here we are, some brush work. I thought, shall I try some stuff with brushes? No, don't try some stuff with brushes. Didn't look good. Here we've got a different shade of ink. At some point, I got into my pens and my inks, and I'll show you some other pens in a minute. But to be honest, my main pen is still this Coeco Sport. It's a great pen. So this is the Diamine Mozart. Now Diamine, I think they make the ink that people sign legal documents with and that kind of stuff. Since 1864. Lovely. So this, they do these limited editions in small bottles. This is called the Mozart, and it's this kind of reddy brown. Quite like it. And I put that, but at this point the Coeco's got black ink in, and I put the brown ink in the gin ale. I really like these inks. I've got another one I'll show you. Oh, here we are. Here's the other one. Pansy. That's this purple ink. Once again, it's Diamine again. And they come in these little small bottles, but that's great because they're pretty cheap. And how much purple ink do you really need? I'm not sure. Okay. So that's this kind of brownie ink. This is probably one of my favourites I've done, I think. I don't know why. Sometimes, when I just stop, when I go, I'm happy, and I could carry on extending it. But no, I've just stopped. And I'm like, oh, okay. There we are. This is me trying to do brushwork again. I'm not doing that. I think this is another copy of one of the Peter Draws ones. I was just trying to learn different things. It looks like I didn't learn much of that. Never mind. And you can see this kind of more intentional. I'm going to draw a shape and draw around that. I don't know how much that works. Yeah, here's one thing that will make me smile, which is I think I was singing to myself, "Don't you worry about a thing," and Morgan, my 11-year-old, said, "I used to think that was a Christmas song." I don't know why she thought that was a Christmas song. Anyway, yeah, that's another one of my favourites that I've done. Not sure why again. Some things just speak to you, don't they? Some intentional, sometimes intentional work, sometimes it doesn't. Anyway. I started drawing around things after I finished. It makes it look a bit more completed. Just put your coffee mug on and draw around it. Yeah, another one that I like. Maybe it's this shape. This kind of coming down to a point. Maybe that's what I like. I'm not sure. Yeah, there's another one. Obviously done this, and then I've gone, I'll draw around my coffee mug, or whatever that was. Who knows? Here's some Posca pens. So these are things that I use with a lot of different stuff, and they're not with sketching, just in life. I love a Posca pen, which are like paint pens. Obviously, at some point, done some Posca work in here. So I think this is a broad nib and the purple ink. So, time to introduce you to my other favourite pen. I've bought 4 fountain pens, the cheap one, which you saw. I've yet to use this again since I stopped using it. The Quebeco, absolutely brilliant, my favourite pen. The Jinhao, great, but now this is a demonstrator pen. And I filled up this whole thing. This is a Moonman, for those of you who are interested in pens. It's a piece of art. It's got this little flat piece, so it looks cylindrical, but it's got this flat bit on it, so that it doesn't roll away. And the whole, you fill it up with an eyedropper, and the whole thing you fill up with ink. And I've never refilled it. And I've had this now for maybe 6 months, and it's about a quarter full now. Anyway, that's a beautiful pen. Very similar nib to my Quebeco. It's a pretty broad, a lot of ink comes out. You can see I'm using this quite a lot. A lot of this was just I was carrying around in my bag to work and stuff, so yeah, kind of lunch breaks and things. Another Posca. I really like the finish with Posca because it's so flat. Posca's what John Bergman uses. In fact, I think that's probably Posca there. But yeah, Posca pens are really nice and flat. It really finishes with like this is the bit which has ink on. Yeah, things that didn't work. Things that maybe worked, but I stopped. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe I just need to stop earlier. Not sure. Kudos if you're still watching this. Absolute kudos. It's quite interesting that I started doing these drawings for me, and I still am doing them for me. And now I'm making a video, and it's obviously just for me as well. If you're still watching this, you've got problems. Yeah, this is this tie. That's the fine liner again. I quite like we're using the. Oh no, I like the results of the fine liner. I always like the results. There's a lot of pages in these. I think when you start one of these, like a thicker pad, and you think, oh man, how am I ever going to fill that? But it's just having that practice. It's just having that. I'm going to do this every single day. Well, not every day, but you get the idea. I'm going to do this an awful lot. At the end of the day, that's how you get good at stuff. That's how I've got half okay at some musical instruments. It's just go, oh, I'm just going to absolutely. Oh, this is a guy I love online. I just always like, how hard is what he does? It's a guy called Salvenius, I think, and he does ink paintings online in real time. Follow his Instagram, it's absolutely amazing. Let's do that. Anyway, the last page of a notebook is such a I don't know, I felt real pressure, so I just wrote some stuff. You can probably hear my wife just come in the kitchen. Yeah. She's getting cookies. Anyway, this one I literally feel like I just started it, and I know there's probably a few pages. I started it on the 23rd of February. And we're coming up to where I am now. I think where I am now is that I'm really confident with my use of the pen for some reason or another. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's a misplaced confidence, but hey, I'm male. I have to be overconfident with these things. Sorry, that was a joke. That's not a good joke, but anyway. So yeah, I'm confident with my use of the pen. And now I'm just happy to try out different things. And it seems to be that when I was trying out things at first, it was like, no, I'm not sure that worked. And now when I'm trying things out, like, adding weird mechanical parts to otherwise organic looking pictures, I'm feeling like, oh, actually, maybe that did work. For some reason, I've never been interested in plants and flowers and stuff, but I started growing tomatoes and I've just gone all botanical all of a sudden. Lots of botanical influences now creeping in. Yeah, this is the kind of thing where if somebody now was like, oh, can I flick through your book? I'd be like, oh yeah. I guess that's why I've just shown you these books in the first place. Is because that way it's kind of that fear of, oh no, if you see something that's rubbish, you might think I'm rubbish at this one. It doesn't matter how good I am at it. Yeah, is this I've done some other ones. Yeah, this was the last one that I just saw and was like, oh great, you know what? Yeah, maybe it's time to not necessarily share them for any reason, but maybe other people might enjoy this. Pretty happy with that. I don't know what, but people ask me when they see me doing this in the tea room, oh, why have you drawn a spanner and an axe and stuff? And I'm like, no idea. Oh, who's that? No idea. Literally just switch the brain off, engage a hand. We must be coming up to the end now, because literally, was it last weekend, weekend before, I was in an art shop and I bought some Winsor and Newton. This is for fountain pen, it says calligraphy ink, but yeah, it says for fountain pen, so it's water based, and this is their leaf green, which looks like that. I quite like that. I was just kind of missing the green ink since I ran out of the Kaweco things. Yeah. So that's now in the green pen. Colour coding is important. And black ink in the Kaweco. Yeah, I also think I've kind of got better at when I need to stop. Like, I did this and I was like, okay, now you stop. And that was the same with music production. I think that's when I started feeling a bit more confident with my music production, was knowing when to stop and knowing when to stop adding different bits. So yeah, that's the last one I finished. This is the one I've just been working on the last day or so. And a whole load of empty pages. How much is that? It's maybe a quarter through in a month. So maybe I'm speeding up. Not sure. So what's next? What is next is this is a sketchbook from, let me turn it over without showing you the thing, the sketchbook project, which is the Brooklyn Art Library, I think it's called. And you have a little code, you scan in your code, they give you one of these and you fill it with a lot of art, and then it's in a library. I've decided to complete, because it's really small and it's only like, I think it's like 20 pages or something, it's not a lot. So I decided to complete this using just the Unipin pen. Because I wanted things to look a bit more finished. So I am not necessarily thinking about them more, I don't know. Like, I really want to know that what I'm going to do, I've got to be in the right frame of mind. So I've had this now since Christmas, and I've done literally like 2.5 pieces. I did that one, I did this one, which I'm really happy about. And I started another one, and I wasn't feeling it, so I stopped. So yeah. So that will be in a library in Brooklyn come the end of the year. If if you're in Brooklyn and coronavirus hasn't killed us all. Yeah. Anyway, so back to where we started. I hope that, I wanted to show you my inspiration and why I've been doing this and how it's been good for my mental health. And this is something I think I'm going to carry on doing while in quarantine. Quarantine? I'm not ill or anything. What's it called? Social distancing? Whatever. But just grabbing a pen and doodling is a pretty easy thing to do. Yeah. Hopefully that's kind of inspired you. Or you thought, oh God, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do something else. Either way, yeah. Thanks for watching if you got this far. All right, bye.